I know this is a weird topic to share on social media, but family, can we please talk about cutting down on social media? Yeah, the irony, right? I mean, where else was you gonna see it at? You know? And here's why. It's like alcohol. And now, I might be in a different place because I quit drinking, and now you might think I'm so holy. Like, no, it's just kind of you learn on the other end of things because why else would you do them? Like, why else would you make a change except to learn and to see what it do for you? So, in quitting this thing, I realized, like, oh, the roller coaster in my life is a little different now. And it feel good because, at a certain age, you don't like roller coasters no more. Your body don't like being tossed around. Your mind don't like being tossed around. Your heart don't like being tossed around like that. You don't get a thrill from that because you know what that's like because life already done did that. So you don't need no thrill ride. You don't need no extra fun. You ain't trying to go on no extra missions. I mean, if they fun side missions is different, but extra suffering, we minimizing that as we get older. Like, because when you're young, you just want to prove yourself. You want to make sure you're a warrior. So you got to test your sword. You got to see what you can stand against, what kind of conflict you can handle. And those that decide like they're not really good with conflict, guess what? They still go through conflict. They gonna get pushed into conflict until they realize that they are good with conflict. Because it's just a process. You get better at everything as you keep going. It ain't a thing that you just get good at to start out. Like you just begin like, oh, I'm just perfect. Everything I do is just A1. Nah, you ain't never gonna be A1 from the start. You ain't never gonna be A1 at nothing from the start. If that was the case, what's the point of even going through the process? Like, what's the point of living? Life is about development. Life is about, like, if you play like Assassin's Creed or something, like, it's a leveling up. You gotta get different skills and different capacities, and there's almost like a tree and a branching system of things that you can learn in different areas of life. All right, so what does it have to do with social media? Well, when I quit alcohol, I realized like my roller coaster was different because you sometimes you drink to cope or to have a good time or to boost your mood or to not be so stressed. And you might have a lot of things you do for that, but let's just say drinking as an example. Somebody else might use sex, somebody else might use who knows, right? But then on the downside of it, like after the high, even like with sugar or with overeating, like the crash after, it never really is worth you know what I mean? Like the gains you got in that moment. Because any gains you felt, those is temporary. Like you felt better, but it didn't last. But then the consequences or the outcomes or the negative feelings, they usually last longer, don't they? And it's like you can't, after a while, mathematically ignore that because you done had enough experience. When you're young, you don't have enough experience, but once you start getting older, you're going to have enough experience to know, okay, this is how it works. That's the mathematics of life. It's when you start really knowing, okay, I'm really living mathematics, whether you know about it or not. So you might want to know about it. You might want to know how it works. And this is where the books come in, right? This is where you want to actually take time to study. And one only learns, one teaches oneself. So you can hope it's going to just come to you. Hope you're going to find the right piece of information that you can consume. But know that vision quest, that journey is very real, and it's got to be for the individual. You got to go through some experiences and processes and meet some people and go through some things. And there's going to be some highs and lows and ups and downs. But at least with these, when you accomplish a high, you get to a gain, it's sustainable. It's something you don't lose no more. You don't lose that ground that you make within your own mind and heart. Once you master something, once you get past a conflict or a challenge or a demon or a vice, something that got you in his grip, something that's got you struggling, it's like afterwards, you don't really leveled up. And you could tell because you're no longer affected by it. Like when I quit drinking, I thought I was fasting for a second off it until I realized that every time I pass by, I think about some alcohol, they be calling me. Hey, I felt like Pookie in New Jack City. So I was like, I don't like this feeling. And I knew that it was like, oh, okay, this is a withdrawal, this is desire, this is want, and want comes from a sense of lack. And I don't want to have lack. I want to know how abundant I am and actually live perpetually and eternally in that unthreatened state of being an unstoppable force and immovable energy, as you are and as you should be. So I applied the same thinking to social media because as much as good as I can use it for and as much business as I'm able to do on it, it was also causing a lot of disturbance and distress, which for most entrepreneurs, you know this, right? If you got your business, on social media, you're gonna end up with a lot of issues you don't have just having a business. If your business has got a website, email, and customer service, that's one thing. But when you checking your page and you replying to comments and you scrolling through the feed, you're gonna go through feelings that's not part of your business cycle. It's not part of your business regimen, is it? It wasn't planned, but that's not your plan. That's not your algorithm. That's their algorithm. So a lot of times we end up operating off of other people's structures and algorithms. And that's not the supreme design. That's not the way that the new world is going to be built, by us going off of the new ideas of the rulers of the old world. Like, all right, they're going to always give you something to absorb you. They always going to give you an idiot box. You feel me? The idiot box used to be way bigger. It used to be a whole movie screen. Then it became a TV screen, you know? And now you got a little tiny screen. And one day the screen gonna be in your head. It's gonna be in the inside of your eyelid. You know this is coming. So what about for those of us that want freedom and want our children and grandchildren to know freedom? You have to pass down certain sustainable and eternal principles. You know, certain timeless decisions that is really, you know, what make they word bond and they bond life, because they gonna live off of certain timeless truths. And these things are actually not, they don't need to be instructed or consumed, because they're discovered by a person going on a sincere journey of knowledge of self and self-discovery. You come to learn ethics and the reason for having integrity. If you didn't know it, you will learn it. And if you don't learn it, you will constantly end up in conflict and suffering from not having mastered that capacity. So it's about leveling up. If you get to the point where your social media is doing good and you got people giving you a lot of attention and energy, then naturally you're going to get a lot of people that's not your customers, not your target. It's just like having a bunch of people that don't even like your program. They just scrolling through the channels. They might find your program. They might stick around to watch, but they might be in a space where they feel like you're not even the audience, so they stick around to criticize. This is because we're all in a bad emotional space right now. Like, the way to get out of it is by seeing it, and by recognizing these things, we can deal with them. So I said, okay, well, you know, it's not going to crush me business-wise to not use my social media. It might just affect the way that I go about my day, but I think it might be better. And it is. It is. Like, it's genuinely like, I'm not saying that you couldn't be outside if you was on social, but it's like being outside, I had much less desire to film or post anything. I could travel without worrying about taking a selfie. I could eat without worrying to have to take a photo of it. You know, others of how they could do something just because I did it, and having to make everything beneficial to a viewer. It's like you living as if you just want to be seen. And there that come from want and lack and need. And, you know, we don't need attention. We're the source of attention. We are the supreme mind. Like, we the all I seeing. We see everything, and we even see ourselves should we look closely enough. And so, what's there left to look for? What's there left to be seen by? Like, no, it's a journey left to complete. And for me, discovering that journey just required me to, like, cut down on some outside stimulants. Alcohol being one of them, going out, just kicking it, like, just not having nothing to do, no agenda, just wanting to party and relax and just sit back. And, you know, like, sometimes we value that when we don't even value breathing, or taking a walk, or being still, or taking a nap. Now, nap takers, don't think that I'm giving you permission to nap all day. That's not a nap, that's sleep. Alright? But yeah, man, some of us could use a nap. You know, even if it's a 15-minute nap, man. Some of us could use more rest. Some of us could use more exercise. Some of us could use more water. Some of us could use more activity. And a lot of times we don't really even see what we could use more of, because we got so much things that we do so much of. We're doing the most, as they say. And in doing the most, if you start streamlining, cutting back and fasting and disciplining yourself, and like, yo, I'm not flirting with women like I used to. I don't want to talk to every woman like as if we could date. Let me just talk to you like, yo, we could be friends or business partners, or we could just be acquaintances to start out. And it could grow from there. And your friend and a business partner could turn into something significant if y'all really like each other and y'all work well together. But that sound more like the old way, like courting and getting to know each other's families and checking people's references, than just flying into flings like we've been doing. Okay, and what that lead to? More depression, more stress. I like being able to rest at night. I like being able to look at my phone whenever I want to look at my phone and not have to worry about who blowing it up. Because the only people that really, you know, should be able to do that is those that you're taking care of, like your children or any elders you're taking care of. Like, but they gonna know how to reach you in a healthy way. So the goal of this talk really, just to become healthier, just to become healthier in whatever way that look like. So you may not say, I'm gonna cut off social media altogether, but maybe you should take like a fast and just see what else you do and fill that time with something else. Because if you're doing the most of something, you may not have seen that, oh, okay, I could do something else that's just as, if not more fulfilling. Like I went to Florida a little while ago, cheap tickets, stayed in a hostel. If you don't know about hostels, real easy and social way to stay with a bunch of tourists for like little to nothing, pretty much anywhere you want to visit. How you doing? And the beauty of that stay was not just that I didn't feel like I needed to post or share it, but just that like there's a beach that for me is better than smoking. Like there's certain things I like more than smoking, certain things I like more than other things. But if I don't give myself a chance to do those things, then I don't get to see which one I really enjoy. So instead of, for example, smoking, I might just go to the beach, or I might just go breathe, or I might just go get some good food that I couldn't get somewhere else. And because I'm enjoying them things, and these are healthy things, it's like I feel even better. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to sound like I'm teaching a sermon or some howdy-towdy goody two-shoes holier than thou and want everybody to not drink or smoke. Or, like I said, I didn't say I quit smoking. But I did quit smoking BDs and other things. Like, we're not striving to motherfucking cut off everything and go a little crazy. I mean, you can. See how it worked for you. See how it worked for you. I do my things in steps and stages, And to each their own, man. There's no compulsion in this journey. The only thing is this encouragement to just say that, man, when you start doing it, you're going to see. You feel better. You're going to feel a lot better. Whatever it is you change. And maybe social media, for you entrepreneurs out there, for you business leaders, maybe you could hire one of your interns. Maybe it's time to get one of your maybe one of your college students or teenagers can take over your page. Fellas, maybe, if you got a business page, man, let your woman run your page, man. Can't find yourself getting a whole lot less mess. Just trust me, You know what I'm talking about. And she might actually get way more results. I don't know. I mean, especially if y'all building. But the whole point is like, don't be stuck nowhere. Don't be stuck in nothing. There's nothing that's going to give you the feeling of safety and freedom that you're really craving except for yourself. So, those places that we look and those things that we go to, eventually we're going to learn to go within. So for those of you that's been following me for a minute, this is my major recommendation. I'm going to have a ton of content coming out soon explaining how you can start getting together your tribe. It's going to start with book studies. It's going to start with study circles. But it's going to grow. And we're going to be able to really reclaim our communities and reclaim our hearts and minds as a collective. And get back into a real healthy space, the way we used to live, our natural way of life. And getting back there is going to be a process. So wherever you're on your journey, ain't no judgment. Please don't judge me. You ain't going to get too far anyway. But I ain't judging you. It's just whatever you got to do to feel like you're leveling up and you're becoming your best self. You're not competing or comparing with nobody. You're only becoming better than you was the other day. All right, so just look at that. Look at how far you come. Compare yourself now with who you were 5 years ago and how you were. Just imagine if you keep growing at that rate or at a better rate, where you'll be 5 years from now. All right? Don't count your L's as just losses, man. They're lessons. They help you learn to get on the way to your wins. All right? And if you don't know none of what I'm talking about, you know the book to start with? No, you probably don't. That's probably why you don't know none of what I'm talking about. But if you made it this far, you might like what I'm talking about. So you should read How to Hustle and Win. It's all this game in a much more structured way. Love y'all. Peace.